All right. So, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to DragonFi's first ever live Usapang Merkado. I'm Aaron Lane, and I'm thrilled to be your host for today's event, where we'll explore the art and science of building sustainable wealth through smart investing. So, today isn't just about learning. I want you to look at the person right beside you, to your left and to your right. So, give them a good afternoon naman.
Afternoon. Afternoon. Very good.
Wala ako nagbibigay ng misa dito eh. Mas nakakatawa yung joke ko after 15 minutes. Alright, kidding aside, this event is all about you kasi. It's about growing together as a community of investors. Whether you're just starting out or you're looking to improve your strategy. Especially nandito yung mga creator circle natin so we could talk to them later, right? So I hate to keep you guys for long. Coming in hot is our first part of today's segment, a panel discussion on building your best investor self. Let me start by introducing our panelists. So we have a good and incredible lineup of speakers and market experts who will share their insights on building good investing strategies to help us kickstart our 2025. So I have a feeling na kilala nyo na sila eh. Kasi before, nakikita nyo kami through Zoom, right? Pero now, it's a face-to-face event already. So, without further ado, I would like to invite to the stage our first panelist who has over 20 years of experience in the US and Philippine stock market, a visionary leader with deep expertise in the financial markets. Our first panelist is the CEO of DragonFi, our very own Sir John Carlo Lim.
Hi guys, thank you for coming.
Right. Our second panelist is a former engineer turned successful investor, offering unique insights in strategic long-term stock investments, helping Filipinos achieve financial freedom through diverse ventures and dedicated support. So he is a living testament on how one can start with little to nothing and make it with the help of the financial markets. So let us all welcome Sir Renz of PSE Warriors.
Hello guys, thank you.
Sir Renz, dami mga fans today.
All right. Our third panelist is the passionate mind behind Stocksilon. He has a decade worth of trading experience and he believes that the stock market is a key to growing wealth and boosting our economy. So let us all welcome Sir Mike, the founder of Stocksilon. Hello everyone. Okay, our fourth panelist naman
Is a chemical engineer and former OFW. She advocates financial literacy by sharing her investment knowledge, passionately helping Filipinos achieve their financial goals through practical advice and inspiring them. So actually, out of all the panelists, siya yung pinakamaganda. So I would like to call on Tita Glo, founder of Moneywise Engineering. Okay, our fifth panelist has been sharing his extensive knowledge in the Philippine stock market, inspired by Benjamin Graham and Warren Buffett, to promote lifelong learnings and smart investing, guiding others towards financial success. So let us all please give a big welcome to Kuya John, founder of Kuya John. And our last panelist is a DragonFi VIP client with over 20 years of experience in dividend and capital appreciation investing. He has also a decade worth of investing experience in the Australian stock market. So let us all please welcome Sir Warren Oil. Excited.
Okay, right? Before, nasa Zoom lang tayo. Now we can see each other already.
Yes.
Very exciting.
Yes. What a stacked set of speakers, right? So tara, game, let's dive into our panel discussion on how to build our best investor self. All right, next. For our first question, what are some of the things you do at the start of the year that conditions you and prepares you to trade and invest at your peak level? Sir John?
Yeah. So actually, it's not at the start of the year for me. It's at the end of every year. I actually brought this along. I dusted this off. I started making these in 2001 when I started investing as a professional trader in the US markets. So actually, what I do is I document everything. I document and I do simulations, back testing. And the reason for that, the reason you want to do that, by the way, right now, digital na. This was yung mga first 5 to 7 years before there were platforms that allowed me to really export charts and all that and annotate the chart. So the reason you really want to do this is, first of all, kailangan yung ano mo, the emotional and intellectual aspect in sync. Because if it's not, mangyayari, when you're pressured, let's say it's a losing trade, you there's a tendency na you'll follow your emotion rather than your rational argument. Secondly, palagi mong marinig, you will always hear that history does not repeat itself, but it often rhymes. So, kailangan mo ma-document the things that you've learned in the past that will repeat in the future. Kasi if you don't document them assiduously, nangyayari, it takes a lot of time before that same situation repeats itself. The other day, I was talking to our research team, and I was telling them that they should be documenting 2022, that when inflation was rising. Because why? Because even though I've been doing this for over 23 years, it was my first experience with a hyperinflationary environment. Because the last hyperinflationary environment was in 1982. So imagine, pag hindi mo siya dinocument, you're gonna wait a long, long time before you apply it again. So I don't wanna drag this conversation any longer because I know Mike wants to say something as well.
Yeah. So, sorry kasi, so, a lot of my followers, they know that I'm both a long-term investor and at the same time a trader. So, but then now I'll talk more on the trader side. So siguro, how I prepare usually, since start of the year, I do break and purge. What do I mean by that? So I take breaks, because I need my mind free up para at least I can think better. And at the same time, I purge my account. What do I mean by purging of account? I sell everything. I start from scratch every year. Why do I do that? Simply because two things. Number one, I need to see I need clear eyes on everything. And number two, I need to see if my strategies will still work for the year. And then sometimes that is like the time where I try to make adjustments if necessary, or continue on what is really working. Okay, thank you for those, Sir John and Sir Mike. Moving on to our next question. Okay, we want to welcome 2025 with the best versions of ourselves. So, yung mga New Year's resolutions about journaling, then teaching every trade. And what are some essential habits that every investor and trader should develop? Kuya John?
Okay. For me, my take, who is the most famous investor of all time?
Warren Buffett.
Warren Buffett. It's Warren Buffett. It's Warren Buffett. And, pero, a lot of people idolize Warren Buffett. Pero very, very few follows what he does. So, marami na naging talk si Warren Buffett kung ano talagang kailangan mong gawin para maging magaling ka sa stock market. And paulit-ulit kami sinasabi niya, pero people say not to pick up kung ano yung sinasabi, which is you have to read annual reports. You have to read financial statements. Hindi lang yung number. Everything sa annual report kailangan mong basahin. And not only that, you have to think about the business. Kasi hindi siya ganun kadalit mag-gets ang isang business. It takes time para ma-absorb mo kung paano nag-work yung business at anong mangyayari sa kanila moving forward. Sometimes it will take you months, weeks to realize na ang ganda pala ng isang stocks for some one reason or another. It doesn't come in. And you cannot extrapolate then na, okay, for the past 10 years, this stock is doing, it's rising 10%, 10%, 10% year after year. It doesn't mean na mangyayari. And you have to think about the business and you have to really meditate on that. And then, bigla ka magkakaroon ng insight. And that is what Warren Buffett is advising every time na may seminar siya and every time na nag-talk siya. And very, very few ang gumawa. I think ang isa sa gumawa nun sa mga top siya si Ted Coombs, if I'm not mistaken. Is it Ted or Todd Coombs? And now, as a Berkshire Hathaway siya, managing billions and billions of dollars. So yun yung ginagawa ko. I read annual reports and I think about businesses, individual businesses. I think about them for weeks, each business.
So no shortcuts, right? Tapos
no shortcuts.
talagang serious talaga. How about Sir Mike? Would you like to add anything?
Yeah. So for me, siguro the habit that everyone should have should be consistency. Every one of us are investors, traders at some point, and it's very important kasi na we are not trying to predict the market because really no one can, no one. Pero once we develop a habit of consistency, mas magiging madali siya. So as an example, like Sir John mentioned kanina, journaling, I am doing that as well. Okay? Why do I do that? Simply because I want to review, I want to see which one works, which one doesn't. No? And when I say consistency, it's not just parang consistent ako for this. No? For me, it took years for me to do that. And siguro just one tip that I can share to you, a lot of people are thinking na as a trader, sometimes iniisip natin, kailangan nakatuto sa market. But not really. Not really. In fact, I only need around 5 minutes per day. Just 5 minutes. And then I can already execute my trade. Why? Because a lot of the preparation, a lot of the planning happens during the off market. It's very important. Kasi if you are live on the market, ang daming noise. Madali kang mafo-FOMO. Madali kang lumilipad si ganito, lumilipad si ganitong stock. Wala siya sa plano mo, and then biglang, should I buy? Parang ang ganda eh. Di ba? While if you have plan, mas madali siya kasi susundan mo na lang. Madali siya, but at the same time, mahirap siya. Di ba? For a lot of us, I know marami sa atin, gusto ko na mag-dahil. Especially at the beginning of the year, di ba? New Year's resolution and all. Pero ang hirap yan. Sa una, okay, pero sa dulo, medyo mahirap. Now, again, going back here, so consistency is key. At least a key habit for anyone who wants to be successful in trading or in investing.
Anything to add from our panelists? Actually, ako, add ko lang when I was starting out, nahirapan din ako mag-journal ng trades. Medyo nakakatamad, right? Pero what I advise other people as well is that you journal, try to keep it very short lang. 2 sentences, 3 sentences. As a start. Diba? Tapos mag-build on top of that. Okay, moving on to our next question. What are some bad habits that you notice most people starting out in trading or investing do? Kita Glo, ano tingin mo dito?
Para sa akin, yung napansin ko kasi na very common to na habit ng mga newbies na nag-start pa lang mag-invest sa stock market ay relying too much on the suggestions of stock suggestions and stock recommendations from other people. So, madalas kong makikita na tanong, ano bang mga magandang stocks na bilhin ko ngayon? So, meron akong 20,000 pesos. Anong stocks ang masasuggest mo? When it's not wrong, seeking advice from experts or other people that you know, it's very important to do your own research about the stocks na bibilhin mo. So, dapat interested ka talaga dun sa stocks. Hindi ka mag-decide based dun sa suggestion ng ibang tao. Kasi pera mo yan eh. Pag nagkalugi-lugi ka, pera mo, hindi yung nag-suggest ng stock na yun. And you should make your own decision based on your own research, based on your goals, ano ba yung risk tolerance mo at ang iyong investing strategy. Pag long-term strategy ba yan or short-term strategy? Kasi minsan may nagtatanong, bumili daw siya na parang URC. Pagkabili niya, bumagsak yung stock. Tapos tatanong, ma'am, ibibenta ko na ba? Siyempre tinatanong, anong mo, goal mo, bakit mo siya binili? So, pinaka-importante talaga, dapat alam mo yung stock na binibili mo. Huwag ka mag-i-invest na isang bagay na hindi mo naintindihan. I've been there, I've done that. So yun, to avoid unnecessary losses. So, do your own due diligence, do your own research, and decide based kung ano yung goal mo. Kumbaga, dapat malakas yung conviction mo bago ka bumili ng isang stock. Hindi dahil yun ay sinuggest ng isang expert or isang influencer na napapanood yun sa social media.
Very nice advice, like well. How about you, Sir Warren? Anything to add to Glossary?
Yeah, if I may add, number one is keep your emotions out. No? So, usually when you're starting, nadadala ka sa emotions na tumataas na siya, benta ko na kagad. Or bumababa na siya pag benta ko na rin to cut loss. No? So, you just stick to your plan kung if you're satisfied with the 5%, 10% gain, then it's okay. Just stick to your plan so that you reach your goal, whatever your goal is. But if you want to hold it out for the long term, if that's your goal, okay lang din. Walang mali dun. Kasi yun yung goal ng each of us. Number two, I see through my experience, napapansin ko yung iba, if they reach a gain already, nagiging greedy sila, they want more and more. So, to the point na paminsan, they get margins or umuutang pa sila to invest more. So, I think as a beginner or if you're not that familiar, let's not risk that much money, no? Unless talagang professional na kayo. So, mahirap yung naungutang ka pa para to invest more. I think it's a very risky move. So, that's I think one of the barriers that I see.
Anything to add?
Ako ay siguro,
Yes.
yung kay Tita Glo, nagawa ko na yan before, may recommendations yung mga brokers, pinipili ko kung sino yung sinabi nila na pinakamalaki yung upside. And it didn't work. Puro lugi. And also, ang ginagawa ko ngayon, kailangan kasi when you analyze the stock, dapat hindi ka na-influence ng other people. So what I do is I do my own research first and then I chew my food first. And then pag nagtanggap na ako ng opinion ko, sarili kong opinion, sarili kong idea, at sarili kong valuation, bago ko panonorin si Renz, si Tita Glo. So yung ginagawa ko. Mauna mo na yung personal before ka makinig para hindi ka ma-influence. Kasi magiging emotional ka, like sinabi ni Sir Warren.
Also, nabanggit ni Sir Warren kanina na people like to take up loans para to extra money. But actually, yung masama pa doon is that people do that at the peak, di ba? When the bull market is at its peak, doon pa usually nag-loan yung mga tao.
So these are practical advice for our para like, hindi ma-impact yung personal lives natin.
Okay, moving on to our next question. Okay, if you could go back in time to your first year of trading or investing, what's one habit would you have built earlier or eliminated entirely? Tita Glo,
Yung sa akin, yung having a clear investing strategy from the very start. Kasi at that time, nung pag ako, I was learning both fundamental analysis for long-term investing and then short-term trading. So, nag-aral ako sa Value Investing College for long-term investing. Pero doon, puro fundamentals yung tinuturo. And then, nag-aral din ako ng technical analysis. So, nag-enroll ako sa Udemy. Kasi gusto ko malaman ko yung both fundamental analysis and technical analysis. Kaya lang nung mag-start na ako mag-invest as a newbie, siyempre parang meron information overload, overwhelmed ako. And then nung nag-umpisa ako, wala akong solid plan. So, bili lang ako nagbili ng stocks. So, wala akong trading journal. So, parang all over the place. Pero at that time, nag-lean ako sa short-term trading. Kasi akala ko, easy money sa stock market. So, I even joined a trading group and nagbayad ako ng subscription fee na 20,000 pesos for 1 year yun na subscription. And, ayun nga lang, yung trading guru, hindi siya ganun ka-helpful. Sobrang suplado. So, in the end, it created more confusion on my part. At syempre, as a newbie, ang dami-daming mga hindi ko naiintindihan sa mga videos na binigay na kailangan ko panoorin. So, in the end, I lost money sa trading. So, and then after that naman, napasok naman ako sa isang investment na dahil na-convince ako na isang friend ko na mag-invest sa isang private na company. Naningit naman siya, pero for some reasons, nagkagulo-gulo. Tapos hindi na yung mabayaran. So, yun yung lesson learned ko from the very start siguro kung meron na akong well-defined investing strategy at nag-focus na ako sa dividend investing strategy, I could have built my dividend portfolio earlier and I could have avoided unnecessary losses. So yun. So pinaka-importante talaga, dapat bago ka pumasok, clear na kung ano yung gusto mong gawin ang strategy mo. Long-term investing ba, dividend investing, or short-term trading. So yun.
Actually, request ko lang for our panelists to put our mics closer para ma-just okay. Next, Sir Renz, ano masasabi mo dito?
I think sa personal ko na lang dito, iba bahagi sa'yo. During the early days of my investing career, I was eager and hungry for knowledge. Pero one thing na nakalimutan ko is yung journal, portfolio. This is the one thing na until today, dina-develop ko. And bakit ito nasabi? Kasi minsan, may mga stocks tayo. Kung babasa lang tayo, ang titingin lang tayo sa portfolio na nakikita natin sa broker natin, majority of doon ay mga capital gains na nakikita. Pero hindi natin nakikita yung total returns or dividend returns. Minsan, kapag nag-invest ka for the past 5 years, example, and 1% lang yung ginate mo sa capital gains, ang unang gagawin mo, human tendency, panghina, ay, kawawa naman ako, 1% lang ang ginate ko for the past 5 years, buti pa si ganito, ang lalaki ng gains. Now, the best way to contradict this information, dapat meron tayong portfolio and journal. Bakit? Kasi kung ang hindi mo alam, yung 1% na capital gains, sa dividend naman pala, 90% or 100% ng gains ay naibalik na dahil lamang sa dividendo na binibigyan. And also, the best example yung talaga today ni Sir John na journal. So dito natin makikita, malalaman natin yung mga past mistakes natin from the past. Dito, sa mga past mistakes kasi natin, dito tayo nagkakaroon ng learning curve, and magkakaroon tayo ng information na mabilis tayo matuto sa mga past mistakes natin. And today, I think, ang iba sa inyo ay nakakagamit na rin siguro ng aking portfolio na kinikreate and continuous ko pa rin itong develop kasi I want to help not only me, but also others. So that's one thing I really push today. So, turning from bad habit to good habits today.
Thank you for that, Sir Renz. By the way, for our audience who have questions, you may scan the QR code that is available in the flyers that we gave you. So, tapos we'll address them later on sa last part ng segment. Right. Moving on to our next question. What mental shifts have you made to become a better trader or investor? Kuya John?
Okay. Okay. Organize my thoughts. So, ako talaga, as years progress, ang talagang idol ko talaga sa investing is Charlie Munger. And the thing about Charlie Munger is ang hirap ma-realize yung pag may sinabi siya, napakasimpleng pakinggan. Matagal mong ma-realize na tama siya. So, what I have been doing in the past, nung natuto ko ng value investing, I was trying to outsmart other people. And yun yung biggest mistake ko. Kasi yung sinasabi lagi ni Charlie Munger this is not a game about being smarter than other people. This is a game of being less and less stupid and committing less and less mistakes. So, when I change kasi in the past, nakikita ko kasi diba sinasabi ni Charlie Munger, invest in wonderful stocks. Pero inisip ko, if I invest in wonderful stocks, that stock grows 15-20% year over year, then I'm just getting 15-20% gains every year, di ba? So I'm saying, if I invest in cyclical stocks, I can double my money every 2 years. So I'm thinking, I'm smarter than Charlie Munger. And that's the biggest thing. Yun yung pinaka-biggest na mental shift ko, at least starting last year, and then realize ko na tama siya. So now, ang mental shift ko talaga is, I'm investing in businesses that I want to own, that I believe in, na it meets two criteria. One, it's very, very predictable. This is the reason I study moats or competitive advantage. Kasi you want the business to be very, very predictable. Simple, yet predictable. And nakikita mo na maganda pa rin yung growth potential niya. At kasi wala rin sense na isang bagay is predictable, pero hindi na siya nag-grow ng gano'ng kaganda. So, yun yung mental shift ko now and leaning towards very, very long-term investing in businesses that I want to own, wonderful stocks na trading at a good valuation, very predictable that I could own. And I don't mind if the market loses for the next 10 years.
Thank you for that, Kuya John. Anything to answer, Warren? What mental shifts have you made to become a better trader or investor?
Yeah. For me, it's always have a plan B. No? You always know na if the worst case scenario happens, meron kang cushion or meron kang safety net. So when I started 20 years ago, I just invested or pick any stock na may rumor or ito, maganda to, may chismis, nilipad, ganyan. Yun lang, kahit anong stock, kinuha ko. Pero as always, at the end of the day, huli ako, bumagsak na yung stock. So, nasunog, di ba? So right now, majority of my portfolio of my funds, meron ng safety net, which is I use the dividends as safety net. So, whenever na bumagsak yung stock, kumita ka naman dun sa dividends. So, yung dividends na kinita mo, you can already compensate or pwede na siya pambawi dun sa lugi mo dun sa stock, di ba? So, sometimes, I'll be upfront, kahit bumagsak yung stock, pero kumita naman ako sa dividends, I can still sell it kasi kumita naman ako at the end of the day, di ba? So, always have a plan B, in which right now, I think a good strategy would be your safety net is always yung dividends of that particular stock. So always do your research, find out ano ba yung mga stocks na nagbibigay ng consistent dividends.
Thank you for that, Sir Warren. Sir Warren, you said you invested 20 years ago. Baka mag-compute yung audience natin about your age.
So, I invested since I was 10 years old. No.
Okay, moving on to our next question. Okay, looking back into the past year, 2024, no? What lessons did you learn? So, Sir Renz?
So, I think isa sa pinaka may bibig ko na lessons na tulan ko. Not, first is not from me today. Every Friday kasi nagkakanta ko ng free lesson sa mga subscribers ko. So, majority na nakakausap ko ay mga OFWs. So, they are, pumasok sila sa pag-invest and lumalabas din. And one thing na tutunan ko, sinasabi nila palagi, is they straight invest sa stock market. Now, the number one rule, bago ka mag-invest sa merkado, bago ka magkaroon ng karapatan na mag-invest sa merkado, dapat meron ka muna ng emergency fund. Kasi bakit? What if nangailangan ka ng pera? Anong gagawin mo? O ang una mo, human tendency, kung wala ka makuha ng pera, yung investment, even na lugi yan, ibibenta mo ng palugi. Kasi wala ka pa makuha ng pera. So that's one thing na kailangan mo natin pagkaroon, emergency fund. Pangalawa, I think, for my personal na today, no, na ibabahagi ko, ay dapat meron daw cash buying power sa portfolio natin. Why? Kasi kapag umabagsak sa merkado, anong gagawin mo? Kung ikaw isang long-term investor, ang una mong gagawin ay bumili ka sa mababang presyo. And over the long time, tataas mo yun. And that's the gusto ko ibahagi. And last, in 2024, na natutunan ko, and dadaling ko ngayon 2025, think long term.
Right. Thank you for that, Sir Renz. How about Sir John? Would you like to add anything?
So for me, it's not a market strategy in 2024, but more again in relation to my journaling. something happened in 2024 that hasn't happened since 1972. In 2024, the US Fed started cutting interest rates. They started cutting interest rates, and syempre, because of that, the BSP started cutting interest rates as well. Normally, what happens is, kung nagka-cut ng interest rates ang Fed, yung 10-year yield, the longer one, kasi this is 2 years, the 10-year yield has to go down. And when that goes down, that stimulates the economy. For the first time since the 1970s, baliktad. So when the Fed started cutting rates, the 10-year yield was 3.6%. 1 month later, nasa 4.7% na siya. And that actually caused the BSP to really decline. Kasi tumaas yung cost of capital. So, yan, I documented that kasi you always want to document yung mga potential outcomes. These are called mga cycle patterns, mga economic cycle patterns. If you document them and you put them in the right context, the next time it happens, you know exactly what to do. So, yeah, you did ko in 2024. That was something that, I'll just clarify. In 1972, nagkaroon ng oil price shock. Tapos, that caused the Fed was cutting rates. They raised rates again. So this time around, ang ginawa ng US Fed was actually July 2023 was the last time they raised interest rates. Then they paused for 14 months kasi they wanted to be sure na inflation contained na. So when they started cutting, they had a high degree of confidence that that was the case. Pero bumaliktad pa rin. So now you see that is possible. So that is something that I documented and that impacts your investing future. Kasi as I'll say one thing about it na whenever you're investing, dapat you should think in terms of decades. Okay, mag-isip in terms of 1 year, 2 years. Kasi there's very little that you can do in terms of your financial future when you're thinking about 1 year, 2 years down the road. But when you're thinking in terms of decades, doon yung potential exponential growth ng mga portfolio mo. And that's why for me, journaling is really the most important thing.
Sir John, baka investing since 1972.
Hindi halata.
Nagpanalo na.
Student of the game.
Yeah. Thank you for that, Sir John. And that's a wrap. So very valuable insights from our speakers. I hope you guys learned a lot kasi ako rin marami ako natutunan sa kanila. Now, if you have questions, hold them.
We have a Q&A segment later, right? Just scan the QR code on your flyers. Okay, I would like to ask the panelists to remain seated lang. So, magkakaroon lang tayo ng short icebreaker. Right? So, ang icebreaker natin is, actually, familiar ba kayo sa Squid Game? Napanood yun yung Squid Game. Okay, kasi hindi naman din related yung gagawin natin today. Our game for today. Our game for today is a teaser on what we will be doing next for our next part of our event. So our game today is called Bull or Bear. So thought-provoking statements, sasabi lang ako. And then all you have to do is bring out the cards. Like this one. Right? My bull side, my bear side. So if you agree with what I said, you just raise bull. And then when you disagree naman of what I said, you raise bear. Okay? Okay, what's our first statement? First statement is that you should invest in companies whose products you use daily. So guys, are we bullish on this one or bearish? Do you agree or disagree? Wow, okay. Bull, diba? I can see a mix of bull and bear. But it's mostly bulls. Pati panels natin, no? Medyo hatido. Moving on to our next statement. You need a lot of money to get started in the stock market. So bull or bear? Bear. Okay, last slide for the bears. I like that. Next statement, please. Trading is better than investing. Bullish or bearish? Puro investors nandito, ah. Alright. So that's meron pa lang may mga others dito. Okay, moving on. Okay, now if you guys don't have a DragonFi account yet, I would like to invite you to download the app. So it's available both on iOS and Google Play. Next. Now, yung game that we played kanina, it's just a teaser of what's coming up next. Because the next segment is something that we wanted to try. And it's called Bull or Bear also. Pero in this case, aside from thought-provoking statements, it's going to be individual stocks. So malalaman natin ano ba yung thoughts ni PS Warriors, Sir John, and for example, this particular stock, right? So pag-aaway-awayin natin sila. And the way it goes is that first I will name a stock and give a brief description. So I will ask you first, if bull kayo, tingin nyo akit yung stock, raise bull. And then if tingin nyo babagsak yung stock, raise bear. Okay? And then after my cue, tatanungin ko rin yung panelists natin. Tapos, and then I'll interview them yung sino ba yung odd one. Right, next. Okay, our first stock for the day. Our first stock is SM Prime Holdings. This company is Philippines' largest integrated property developer, operating premium malls, residences, offices, and hotels across the country. So, guys, are you bullish or bearish on SMPH? I could see based on my eyeballs, maybe more greens than red. So, our audience is bullish on SMPH. Pero now, let's ask our panelists. So, are we bull or bear on SMPH? Okay, I could see two bears here. Si Sir John tsaka si Sir Mike. So, let's start with Sir John. Sir John, why are you bearish on SMPH?
So SMPH, great company by the way, but pre-sales niya dropped by 47%. 9 months compared to year over year. Yung mall business niya growing at 12%, but I believe the right time to invest sa SMPH. This goes back to yung sinasabi ko na bumaliktad yung 10-year yield, the cut ng rates, tumaas yung 10-year yield. The reason for that is the market now believes na at most, we will have one rate cut this year. Previous to that, when the Fed started cutting rates, mga around November, the market expectation was for another 100 to 150 basis points, 1% to 1.5%. So I feel magiging drag yan. And S&P/H will only start rallying if, let's say, later on in the year, nag-change na naman yung narrative na towards more rate cuts as opposed to less rate cuts. Kasi pressure talaga yung housing sector, especially the one that is targeted by S&P/H.
Right. Now, kailangan ko ng bear na away kay Sir John. Pero don't worry ha, pag awayan niyo si Sir John, di namin ibaban yung DragonFi account. Yeah, I need a representative from the bears. Yes.
Bull.
Bull, sorry. Yes, bull.
From the bull.
From the bull.
SMPH right now, I'm bull by the way. No? What John is mentioning is correct, but that's only a part of SMPH, the residential sector, which is affected by yung Bay Area, yung Pasa, yung Pogo exit. So that business is affected. But I think the malls and the properties and the rents, they are hitting record profits. No, the profits we see now, the price we see now of SMPH is almost the same as 10 years or more than 5 years ago. But right now, it's hitting record profits. So I think SMPH right now is nasa mababa. It's on the low side. It's just that the market sentiment right now is going down. That's why it's a good time to buy for me.
Thanks for that, Sir Warren. No, kailangan na background ni Sir John. Sir Mike, anything to add to why you are bearish on SMPH?
So, again, sa akin, I'm leaning towards the technicals. And siguro, quick disclaimer lang, when I say technicals, what I'm looking at is a period of around 3 to 6 months. Right? I know for some it's mid already, pero no. It's just, short is just 3 to 6 months. Okay? And as you can see on the board, the stock is currently on a downtrend. And siguro yun, just like what Sir John have mentioned kanina, he spoke about more on the fundamentals and what's happening. But sa akin kasi, if you are seeing the market at this point in time, nagde-decline talaga tayo. Again, I don't know what will happen in the next 3 to 6 months, but I know that based on technicals, it's not looking good. So I would rather wait na medyo mag-stabilize muna yung market before I even try to consider
for SMPH or for even other real estate. To be honest, for me, on the real estate sector, I would rather wait muna. No? Kasi at this early stage sa BSE, a lot are still trying to figure out what will happen. So, papahupain ko muna yung chaos and then see how it goes after. At the end of the day, if kaya talaga ng market, makita natin yun. It will be obvious. So, I would rather wait for that confirmation before I try to open and kumbaga, pumasok. Alright, so moving on to our next stop. So our next stop is Digital Plus. So it's one of the largest electronic gaming operators here in the Philippines. So, audience, tingin nyo ba we're bullish or bearish on Plus? Can I see a raise of hands, please? Alright, so based on my eyeballs, parang mas marami yung bulls, no? Here are panelists, what do we think? Are we bullish or bearish on Plus? Wow, we're all bullish on the Plus here from our panelists. Hate? Any representative from the bulls? Tita Glo.
Yung class ngayon, yung technicals niya and fundamentals niya are both very good. Yung fundamentals din niya, sobrang strong. Kasi naalala ko last year, may nag-request ng stock analysis ng class. And at that time, yung price ng class ay nasa 7 pesos per share. And no, i-review ko, hindi pa siya ganun, hindi pa siya nagtitrending eh. Hindi pa siya masyado napansin. Kasi yung video ko, ang konti lang ng views at that time. Kasi hindi pa kilala. And noong time na yun, based sa research ko, Finger Plus yung nagdadala ng revenue. And meron na siya 10 million users at that time. And then after a year, nasa 20 million users na yung Finger Plus. And it keeps on growing yung number of users. And then yung price niya from 7 pesos ngayon, nasa 27 pesos na. Diba? And then yung revenue naman niya nag all-time high. And yung recently na-approve na rin yung license to operate nila sa Brazil. Pero hindi pa siya this year kasi parang end this year pa yung start ng operation. So yung profit from the Brazil operations will only be realized siguro mga next year. Watch out lang kasi Plus is like a new player sa Brazil. So baka mahirapan sila sa competition kasi syempre Brazil mahilig sa mga sugal. So marami na mga big players sa Brazil. So yun yung magiging challenge ng Plus, yung tough na competition. Pero kung magiging successful sila, pagdating ng 2026, pangalan pa, back to the moon. Ayun, same price. Pero yung ako kasi, as an investor, cautious ako kasi Plus is meron siyang regulatory risk. So, kumbaga, highly regulated by the government and anything can happen anytime. And sa opinion ko, Plus is ideal for short-term traders or yung swing trading. Kasi marami lang gumita sa Plus. Actually, gumita rin ako sa Plus kasi sumabay ako sa DragonFi.
Grabe naman.
Oo, yung binigay ng 20 pesos. So, ayun, kay Jaren. Sumabay ako, nagsabi ni Jaren, bibili ng Plus, sumabay ako 20 pesos. Tapos nag-sell sila 26. Nag-iisip pa ako, pero umago pa ng 37. Pero binenta ko na rin kasi backward na maging bato pa. Kasi sabi nga ni Warren, don't be greedy. Pero I gained, I think, mga 35%. So ngayon, mag-apapuli ako ng signal from John. And Friday. Ayun. So, be cautious lang sa kung long-term investor ka, trade or invest at your own risk. Basta abangan nyo lang yung signal from DragonFi.
Shout out to you, Gerald and Frank. So actually, you could follow them sa model portfolio under signature portfolio sa mobile app. Alright, anything to add?
Can I add something? Kasi sinasabi kasi ni Tita Glo yung fundamentals. Ako what I like about Plus is I think this is a company na doesn't require a lot of capital to grow. Yung nature ng business niya, hindi siya katulad na ibang business na kailangan ko umutang na maraming pera kasi magtatayo ko ng bagong planta, magtatayo ko ng bagong, whatever. Ito, hindi ganun kalaki yung I feel. So I think it's something na, yun yung advantage ng Plus. Pero of course, it's not something na I'm considering to buy for the reason na this is not a predictable business. It's not something na I would see through 10 years ahead kung ano mangyayari sa akin.
Okay. Point lang. So, ito just pure curiosity. Because a lot of times, I see in the social media space na kapag ka pinag-uusapan is about gambling, no? Gambling. Parang tabu ito. So, ito, just a curious question. No? What do you think, guys, for something like that, a company like that, fundamental-wise, technical, kasi masyadong subjective na yun, but fundamental-wise, in terms of its longevity, what do you guys think?
Ako, my sense lang, kasi I see it everywhere in the whole world. After the pandemic happened, yung governments, they legalized it from the point of view of collecting taxes kasi dami nilang subsidies binigay during the pandemic. So I feel that is still in place. And at the same time, they want to bring it into the light rather than operation in the dark. So, feeling ko may win pa siya. Until one day na talagang there's a backlash. Diba? Kasi padami na padami eh. Ang dami na sa mga new apps right now on gambling eh. So, I feel na may social impact. Until that happens, I feel na okay pa siya.
Until it lasts.
Until it lasts. Kasi, both Mike and I, we look at it because a lot to it. Like, plus, one way to identify kung nagtatap ng isang stock is pag nagiging sobrang wide na ng volatility niya. But when you look at this, tight pa eh. Very tight pa eh. So, when it's tight, pag yung mga bases na tight pa, hindi pa tapos yung story eh. So, that's what I see with Plus right now. It's very tight. So, hindi pa siya tapos eh. Parang every time when you set up, you can still re-engage it.
So, Mike, I think yung question mo is, does it relate parang yung personal, natin? Yung gambling kasi sabi mo,
As Pinoys.
So parang, I think it depends on yung, does it align with their personal values or not? Ako, well, for me personally, I don't care what the business is. Kung kumikita siya or not, regardless if it's gambling or retail, mining, whatever, you still invest in that stock. So I think it really depends on yung, does it align with the personal values of our audience if they would want to put their money in a gambling business.
Okay, thank you for that, Sir Warren. So, moving on, our next talk. So, our next talk is PLDT, or Teller. It's telecommunications company providing mobile, fixed line, broadband, and digital services nationwide. So, audience, tingin ba natin kat si PLDT or bumaba si PLDT? Are we bullish or bearish on PLDT? Parang I could see a mixed answers, no? Our panelists naman, are we bullish or bearish on PLDT? Okay, so medyo split. So Sir Mike and Kuya John yung bears. So Kuya John, bakit ka bearish on PLDT?
Ako kasi, I mean, Globe is there. And Globe is so much superior. So why would you settle for something inferior? I mean, between the two, Globe is more innovative. Globe moves first. Globe is just so much better. So if I would buy I mean, I feel I'm just wasting my money with I'll just buy Globe and then the maintain mo ng Gcash IPO, a lot of things is there for you. So why would you settle for less? So that's my take.
Thanks for that, Kuya John.
Ako na sa natin ito eh. Dahil ka ba neutral, bullish na lang. Teka kasi. Kung bakit, no? Sa akin sa PLDT is one of the biggest telecommunication stocks sa ating bansa. No? And also, maganda talaga ito magbigay ng dividend. And over the long run, kung ikaw ay dividend investors, I think, Tel is one of the okay company pa rin, no, pagdating today. Now, the question is, the management. Nakadepende naman kasi tayo na naman sa management. During the past years, no, may mga issues dito sa Tel. You have to decide kung magiging okay ka ba sa mga issues na yun or not. If you believe sa issues na yun or not. And for me, no, fundamental wise, nasa neutral and also valuation wise para sa akin today, neutral din. So that's my point.
Thank you for that, Sir Renz. Anything to answer, Tita Don? Yes.
Well, bullish din ako. Actually, Kuya Jun, meron din akong globe. Pero meron din akong tail. Despite what the technicals are telling. So sa ngayon kasi fluctuating yung technicals up and down, naglalaban ng mga buyers and sellers. Bullish pa rin ako. Kasi unang-una, tail is a defensive stock. So nagbibigay siya ng attractive dividend yield na 7.2% yata ngayon. So making it attractive for income-focused investors. And yung TEL ngayon, it is still the leading telecom company in the Philippines in terms of yung kanyang fixed line, broadband, and enterprise services. And it continues to expand its fiber network all over the world. So may tinatarget nila yung mga underserved and remote areas. So to improve connectivity and attract more users. And continuously sila sa pag-roll out ng kanilang 5G na nationwide to enhance their mobile service. And yun, sa malakas siya sa CapEx kasi syempre kailangan nila mangutang na mangutang para magamit sa kanilang infrastructure, ma-improve and ma-upgrade yung kanilang kasi malakas talaga sa CapEx ang TEL. Kaya nagtanong din sa akin bakit mataas yung utang niya. Kasi kailangan nila yun to continue to upgrade their facilities. And syempre, offer better services to the Filipinos.
Thank you for that, Tita Glo. So moving on to our next stop. Okay, our next stop is one of the largest universal banks here in the Philippines, offering retail, commercial, and investment banking services. So audience, what do we think of Metro Bank? Are we bullish or bearish on Metro Bank? I could see a little bit more bulls with the bears. How about our panelists? Wow, all bulls again, right? So, sino pwede ba una? Sir Rance, yes, take it away.
Yun nga, Metro Bank is one of the leading banks dito sa ating bansa natin. No? And also, continuous nag-record yung kanyang revenue, income, di ba? And I think, continuous pa rin ito mag-grow. And so sobrang dami ng diverse na pinagkukunan din ito ng revenue, I think, patuloy pa rin ito mag-grow over time. And also, for long-term investor, I think, kung bumabagsak ang presyo nito, mas maganda na kunin natin. Para sa akin.
For the top three banks, BDO, BPI, and Metro Bank, I would also choose Metro Bank. Number one, it has the highest dividend yield, no? Among the three. It also has the most upside kasi nasa 70 plus. I think it can go up more. If the market is trending up, I think Metro Bank has the most upside among the top three banks.
Siguro just to add lang din, with MBT kasi, on the technical side, it's still on an uptrend. Okay. Now, right now, kahapon, I think nasa support level na siya 70 pesos. Yeah. Nasa support level na siya ng 70 pesos with an upside with may resistance at around 80 to 86. Yeah. By the way, for point of reference, PIPO yung ginamit ko dito. Okay. Now, as you can see, just like what Warren and Renz have mentioned, maganda siya in terms of fundamentals. And the good thing about this one is at least even the technicals, kumaga, synchronized. No? It's not always that case. Pero once you have those two powerful strategies go hand in hand, I think it has a better potential. Pero again, just be very careful pa rin, especially on the technicals. A lot of things can happen. But based on at least what I see, it is at a good place right now.
How do sorry. I was super, actually, I'm waiting for this to add to sa dividend partners portfolio. Used to be na yung BPI was my favorite kasi ako I'm very attracted to mga growth profile ng BPI. But something's happened. So BPI is 1.5 times book value BDO is 1.3 times book value. Metrobank is 0.9 book value. Typically, mga financial and bank stocks, they peak at mga 1.5 times book value, whether it's here in the Philippines or in the US. So, it's a relative value play for me. Tapos, another thing that's going on with Metrobank is nagiging aggressive sila. Loan growth nila was 16% last quarter, pretty strong. Net interest income nila is actually more protected against, let's say, rate cuts. Why? Because Metrobank focuses on auto loans, which fix yung rate nila. At the same time, Metrobank among the big banks, they have limited, mas maliit yung what they call NASA, which is savings and checking account. Savings and checking accounts, kung let's say, nagkakaroon ng rate cut or tumataas ang rate cut, nag-change yung mga binibigay ng interest sa investors. So in that sense, mas stable talaga on account of the fact na mas focus siya on fixed loans, and yung cost of funds niya mas stable rin on the downside. Yung net interest income niya is more protected versus other banks. And I feel the way this will play out is hahabulin niya yung book value ng price to book value ng both BDO and BPI by way of book value compounding, kasi it's trying to increase its balance sheet. Ini-increase niya liabilities niya by increasing its loan book. Management said during the past conference call they're seeing increased demand for CAPEX loans and revolving credit line. CAPEX loans was really on hold, frozen siya during the high interest rate environment. So, for those reasons, I'm very, very high on the Metrobank.
Thank you for that, Sir John.
Yeah.
Sorry. Pwede ba ako nagtanong kay John? Alam ko, up na yung sa MAP. But my question is, recently kasi parang nag-record breaking na naman yung earnings ng banking sector sa US.
Yes.
And also kung tayo, ano ba yung magiging expectation natin sa banking sector this year? Maapektuhan ba tayo na maganda yung earnings sa US ng mga banks?
Yes, in the sense na unfrozen na yung market. So, what happened before talaga yung capital markets? So, investment banking has been very limited for the past few years kasi walang gusto na IPO, because high interest rate environment, so mababa yung valuations ng mga companies. So, they don't want to list their companies in that regard. But now we're seeing a lot of M&As, we're seeing a lot of ang dami na sa pipeline ng ESG. So, that will really bolster yung bank earnings going forward. Actually, malalaman natin what's gonna shake out. So the Trump transition team already announced that before the inaugural party nila, the inaugural ball, Trump will sign 100 executive orders. Compare that to Biden. When Biden assumed the presidency 4 years ago, he signed 17 executive orders. So why is that important for us? Kasi the reason the 10-year yield is being pressured is there's policy uncertainty in terms of ano ba gagawin ng Trump administration. Will it be very inflationary? Will it be mapupush ba? Will it strengthen the US dollar versus the peso? So those are the things na sobrang kailangan natin about. That's why for me, wait and see ako eh. I really want to see what the Trump administration wants to do. Kasi that will really have ramifications for the Philippines.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And si Trump, magiging position na siya starting, I think, tomorrow, Monday, right? Monday.
Monday.
Alright, moving on to our next talk. Okay, our next talk is another major telecommunications player here in the Philippines, and it's backed by Dennis Uy and China Telecom. So guys, baka marami sa inyo nakaka-relate sa dito, right? In the past, you might have bought it. So are we bullish or bearish on dito? I think parang mas marami ng konti yung bears. Like, I'd say 70% bears. How about our panelists? Are we bullish or bearish on dito? Oh, wow, another landslide for the Bears. So, lahat bear, no? Any representative from the Bears?
See, I can start. So, with Tito kasi, I have bittersweet relationship with Tito, to be honest. I made money on this one, but I also lose money on this one.
So historically, it rose to around 18%, no, 18 pesos, I believe, 16 to 18 pesos. Was able to make a good, decent money on that. And then it dropped. It dropped. Right now, as you can see from its all-time high of 18, it's now under 2 pesos to or 220, something like that. And technically, it's still not looking good. So the stock is in a continuous downtrend. Kaya ingat ako. Just like what we are often saying on the technical world, trend is your friend. Diba? And having said that, hanggat hindi pa nakikita na nagre-reverse ito or at least may confirmation of reversal, then at least for now, I will not touch dito at least. Thank you for that, Pastor Mike. Anything to add? Tito Glo?
Alam ko dito, marami naipit. Kasi marami nag-stock request. And I think ito yung, may mga nag-hype na stock na ito. Sabi nila, next big stock daw dito. Pero if you look at their financials, talagang dito is losing money since 2021. Tapos negative free cash flow, ang taas-taas ng utang. Kung makabawi man, it will take a long time pa kasi hindi yung financial kasi hindi siya mag-i-improve overnight. Diba? So, yun nga, may nakita akong research na they will need at least 20 to 25 million subscribers para lang pag-break even. Break even pa lang yun. So, yung profitability ang pag-uusapan, it will take a long time pa. So, sa ngayon, wala pa rin assurance na aabot siya sa ganun. Kung baka puro speculations pa lang siya, so high risk pa rin siya. Para sa
For me, when I look at stocks, inisip ko parang babae may mga naniligo sa'yo. So, you can choose wisely kasi why would you choose dito nag-ihingalo na siya is one of the very few stocks na negative yung book value. And hindi niya malaman saan siya kukuha ng pera para maging afloat lang siya. Whereas meron kang dalawang company, Tel and Globe, that are doing very well and we expect to do even better. So,
thanks for that, Kuya John. Moving on to our next stop. So our next stop is Ayala Group's renewable energy platform with operations across the Asia Pacific region. So, guys, are we bullish or bearish on ASAP? Can I see a raise
Of hands, please. Higher? Alright. So, parang I'd say 70% bulls. Pero how about our panelists? Bull ba tayo or bear kay Usan? Alright. So, si Sir John and si Tita Glo yung bear. Okay. Who wants to go first? Yes?
Sa akin, no, bakit bullish ako dito sa ESL? Kasi for me, ang tinitignan ko talaga ito ay long term. No? Kasi kung titignan natin, kung hindi sila nag-expand not only to the Philippines but also internationally, and also, para sa akin, ito isang big catalyst para sa kanila. Pero however, today, sorry. Pero however, today, yung kanyang performance, no, para sa akin, kung ako yung mag-i-invest today, no, wag ka muna, para sa akin, hindi muna ako mag-i-invest, antayin ko muna siyang mag-materialize. And that's one thing na, I think, kumbaga na-extend ako masyado kasi bumili din ako dito sa company. And today, yung investment ko dito ay nasa negative side pa rin dito. Pero other than that, hindi naman ako nag-worry kasi for me, long term is, malaki yung potential ng kumpanya ito. So for me, that's why it's
How about from the bears? Meron bang, yes, contrary take.
So, I agree with Sir Renz. Bright future. Very bright future. But the time is not now.
That's what, from my standpoint lang. Why? The past 3 years, negative 13, negative 19, and negative 26 billion of free cash flow niya. Management has already said na by the second half, probably by the third quarter, they will issue more stock. So that will dilute foreign investors, so may pressure on ASEAN. But 100% bright future, energy is really the path forward, both from a defensive and an offensive standpoint. Kasi we need more and more energy. Tapos in the world of AI, data centers need more and more energy. So, but hindi pa time yun. When you look at the financials, look at free cash flow, The company is at the start rather than at the end of its capex cycle. And when the company is at the start of its capex cycle, cash flow is pressured and the business is pressured.
Anything to add, Tito Glo? You're bearish also here, right?
Yung perish ako ngayong 2025 kasi alam ko ASEC, marami silang mga strong renewable energy projects. Pero in terms of profitability, hindi pa siya profitable this year. So most likely, mag-start siya maging profitable maybe in 2026 pag natapos yung ibang mga projects nila. So most likely, doon pala siya mag-pick up. So for this year, bearish pa rin.
Question ko to, doesn't it make more sense when you buy as a company which you see with a really good potential at its low point?
Yeah. Very feeling ko, Mike, kasi diba, when you issue stock, diba, then you should. So, I believe that mag-pressure yung stock in the medium and short term. Actually, if from a tactical standpoint, maybe you wait for that.
Actually, that would be my next question.
Come down. Di ba? Yes. I think that's parang wala na yung overhang, di ba? Parang tinanggal mo na out of the market. That's the new supply. Tinanggal mo na out of the market, then you catch it for the long term.
Actually, ginagawa ko nitong strategy Sir John, no? Kasi every time na meron mga stocks na bumabagsak yung price, hinahanap ko yung cash per share niya. Kung yung cash per share ng kumpanya ay malapit or naandun na sa stock price niya, I think that's the best thing to do na tignan mo rin kung potential dito tagilin ng kumpanya. Kasi majority of investment ko rin today na mga bagsak na presyo, nakuha ko siya dahil sa cash per share.
Okay, thank you for that, Sir Renz. So, moving on to our next talk. Okay, our next talk actually is SCC and DMC. So SCC is the Philippines' largest coal producer, makes up about 70% of DMC's business also. And that's because DMC owns SCC, kaya pinagsabay na namin sila. So are we bullish or bearish on DMC and SCC? Can I see a raise of hands, please? Alright. I'll say around mga 70-80% bulls. But how about our panelists? What do we think of DMC and SCC? Okay, split alternating but very bull. Easier to understand. Okay. Who wants to go first? Yes, Sir Mario.
Actually, DMC and SEC, this is one of the stocks, or two of the stocks that I want to go down so I can buy more. It goes back to yung safety net na sinasabi ko. No? So you own these two stocks, if you look at the past 10 years, consistently nagbibigay ng dividends twice a year, if I'm not mistaken, no? Each of them. So you always have that safety net. Right now, SEC, or yesterday, SEC just hit yung 52-week high. DMC is hovering around its 52-week high as well. So, I think it still has room for growth, but maybe not so much na because nandun na siya sa medyo mataas na side. But even then, you still have the dividends as your income to compensate for it. Yeah, so I'm bullish but not too much upside this year. Ako yung take ko sa DMC and SCC, I'm bearish. For the reason na sa value investing community, most people agree na you stay away with mining related businesses for the reason na it's tied up to the price of the commodity. So now, if you are betting on mining companies, parang kang nagiging trader ng commodities, which is a very, very, very difficult thing to analyze and make a good prediction. Kasi one of the toughest thing to predict commodities talaga. Sobrang hirap po talaga niya. So, dun papasok yung uncertainty. And when you're a long-term investor, your friend is predictability. And if you're going something na unpredictable yung price ng coal, pero yung other side naman, is DMC and SEC has built a large cash position that they could deploy in other businesses. So that's another thing naman to consider. So I think I'm neutral to bearish, somewhere in between.
Sir Renz,
Sa akin, sa akin dito, strong uh, bullish talaga dito sa DMC and SEC. So, I think, kung matagal na kami viewers sa channel ko, subaybayan nyo rin yung DMC, paano ko ito binili. So, around 3 pesos, 3.5, if I'm mistaken dyan. Nandito today, hawak ko pa rin siya. So, the best decision na ginawa ko, nakita ko siya, kasi nagkaroon ako ng record doon. And for me, every time na nagbibigay siya ng dividend today, nakakakuha na ako ng yield na 28% pag nagbibigay siya ng dividend. And for me, sa dividend lamang na nabibigay ng DMC, ay 100% na nakuha ko na galing sa dividend. Other than that, I think yung ginamit ko din, sa kasal namin, ilang din dito sa DMC. So, DMC na.
DMC, Sir Renz.
Yeah.
So, bakit lang ako ng isa? So, ito siguro, just a tip. Not a recommendation, ha? Not a recommendation. Gusto ko lang namin wala, okay? Just a tip. SEC and DMC are well known na magandang magbigay ng dividend. And you can actually do short-term dividend investing. How do you do that is ganito. For this kind of stocks, alamin natin kung kailan yung normal schedule na nagbibigay sila. For SEC and DMC, kaya nag-check ako kanina, just wanted to verify, it's usually April. Okay, it's usually April. Now, ang count ko dito is around 2 to 3 months prior. Doon ako nag-start na bumili. Okay, nung stock na yun. Okay, regardless kung which stock is that. Basta ang criteria lang, dapat well-known siya na nagbibigay ng dividend because that's key. Okay? And siguro just to add, on the fundamental side, si SEC kasi naglabas siya ng report a while before that they have recorded the highest
Food shipments.
Yes. So with that, I'm quite confident na mataas ang earnings nila. And syempre, pag may mataas na earnings, saan pa galing ang dividends? From the earnings. Okay? So yun lang. Siguro magbibigay lang ako ng isang caveat that the stock is on the 52-week high. Yun lang. Okay? But kayo na bahala mag-balance how you like. Pero yan, that's my tip. Because I've been doing that for stocks like this. And it's lucrative if you know how. Alright. Any last comments?
I know wrap up, but very quick. Ako sabi ko, I pick bear, right? But I really don't have a real stock. Mag-deliver ako sa kanila. Kasi kumikita sila sa DMC, SEC ako hindi. So I'll defer to them. Kasi confusing for me yung SEC and DMC. So, conflicting yung signals cool talaga pababa yung presyo Why? Kung nakita nyo yung export capacity ng different countries, ang taas at lalaki. Indonesia is like all-time high in export capacity. Why? Because mga developed nations, they're continuing on decarbonization. Ayaw nila mag-coal, diba? Ang bumabawi is Southeast Asia and China. But China raw is beefing up its own production capacity. So, and if you look at the last quarter ng SEC, nag-bump yung earnings because of the export to China. Kasi may rebound. But China is, again, beefing up. At the same time, what really makes it hard for me na it's really naguguluhan ako is in spite of all this, ang laki ng free cash flow. Nagbigay na siya ng sobrang laking dividends. Yeah. I think 18 billion pa rin trading for free cash flow. So, kaya nga sabi ko, I don't have any read on this. I would follow them.
The past few months, PNC just bought CMX, diba? Using the free cash flow that they had.
Oh, wow. Okay. Got it.
So that's the last comment ba? Yes. Siguro kung napili ko si SEC or si PNC ay ng 3 pesos before, I hindi lang sell it. Kasi, uncertain lang naman yung future, pero I don't think you will lose money. Pero yung ngayon na valuation, it will be a very hard decision.
Yeah.
Thanks for that, Kuya John. So before we continue, I would like to remind everyone that if you have questions, you may scan the QR code on your flyers and then you'll read them later on. So now I'm sure our audience would love to hear what our main bets for 2025. So among our creator circle, ano ba yung top courses nila that they think will do well for 2025? Okay, next. So first is Sir John. Sir John, ano yung top pick mo for 2025?
So, it's glow for me. I know narinig na yung kwento, so sorry guys, ulitin ko yung kwento. May experience kasi ako with this one. I don't know, there's like 5 years. I forgot to talaga exactly when blur na sa akin yung years. So, daming experience ko na sa market. So, before I invested in Alibaba because of the potential IPO of Alipay. And that worked really well kasi pataas na pataas yung value ng Alipay, which coincidentally, Alipay is the investor, one of the major investors of Gcash. Pataas na pataas yung value ng Alipay inside Alibaba. Thereby, Alibaba, ginawa nilang proxy for Alipay. So pataas na pataas yung stock price ng Alibaba until kinidnap si Jack Ma. Nawala si Jack Ma, tapos bigla na lang nahulog yung malaking paper profit ko na sobrang lumit na lang sa asin, very, very small. So I exited. But that's not going to be the case with Gcash and Globe. So I believe that the way to play Gcash is to Globe. If mag-collect siya a little bit, if you see it right around 2,100 to 2,200, this would be the stock to, you can invest in Globe para as a all option to purchase Gcash. Kasi why, yung Gcash, ang laki ng bump up ng earnings nila, di ba? 2 years ago, the value of Gcash was 2 billion. In August of 2024, nag-invest MUFG and Ayala at $5 billion valuation. The other day, they were talking about an $8 billion valuation sa IPO ng Gcash. So you see that will accrue to Globe. Plus the fact na Globe, past 3 years, negative free cash flow. Now it's already positive 80 billion. Imagine if Globe were to sell yung shares niya, secondary shares during the IPO. That they're looking at the 75 billion peso proceeds for that IPO. If a portion of that is Globe, lalaki na naman yung free cash flow, which it can give in the form of dividends. So I feel Globe is the way to play Gcash. Kasi if you wait for the Gcash IPO, that may be too late. Why? Kasi, so, bakit lumaki yung earnings ng Gcash na past year? Before yung Gcash, they were subsidizing their services. They weren't charging for anything. Bigla na lang this year, nag-charge na lang ng convenience fee for their mga loans and all that. That's why 100% increase in earnings na. But that will be a hurdle next year. Let's say, for example, nag-IPO na siya, next year, the earnings will be compared to today's earnings, which is sobrang inflated because naka-introduce nila naman. So, thereby, by the time of IPO Gcash, I feel na medyo published na yung valuation niya. So, the way to get ahead of the curve is to Globe.
Pero sir, pag yung offer naman ng DragonFi yung IPO ng Gcash, just in case magkaroon sila.
Oo, but remember, magkakaroon ng kahabulan yan kasi people are excited, right? People are excited, so you might not be able to even get the IPO shares. I mean, if ever, it's going to be very small.
Will it happen this year?
Sabi nila, high certainty because, diba, like we were discussing earlier, si Ernest who is incentivized because, diba, he's retired from Globe. He's retired from Globe, and pero he's still president and of Gcash, and he wants the IPO to happen during this term. And I feel na what's the potential outcome, diba? Syempre, if you're Ernest, if you're exiting Globe, and if you're you want Globe to issue dividends after post the Gcash proceeds, right? So malaki magiging potential yield ng Globe on Sir John, the future dividends.
Question. Well, kasi I feel if we account for Gcash, I feel Globe will be easy 4,000. 5,000, okay, maybe 6,000, I feel. Pero ang question ko kasi sa Philippines, historically, hindi binavalue minsan ng market subsidiary. If you look at NPI, yung value ng stake nila sa Meralco was not hindi na-carry sa FPI. If you look at FPH and FGen, yung relationship nila, same thing. Hindi nakikarry yung value position nila sa FGen papunta sa presyo ng FPH. So, what's your take on this?
I think the counter to that is yung mga stock na yun, there was not going to be a liquidity event. It wasn't going to list. You weren't going to list those subs. So in this case, you list yung sub. Tapos during the listing, usually di ba may pop in terms of valuation. So that will be, that will be recognized.
Alright, thank you for that, Sir John. Moving on to our next top stock pick for 2025. Sir Renz, ano yung horse natin for 2025?
Siyempre, walang kamatayan ng DMC. Kasi, kung bakit ko pinipili pa rin 2022. Kasi I've always follow fundamentals. So, I always look sa return on assets, return on invested capital, return on equity. So, if nakikita ko na mas lumalaki, lumulobo yung kanilang percentage, ibig sabihin kahit hindi ko puntahan yung management ng kumpanya, kita-kita ko lang dito pa lamang kita-kita ko na very, very efficient sila mag-handle other people's money and also their capital. Now, and also, DMC is one of the diverse company within sa holding firm here sa ating bansa today, no? And I think sa continuous na paghahanap nila ng revenue segment, so today they acquire
Cemex.
ba yun? Cemex, yes. So, I think makakapag-add yun ng additional source of revenue na naman sa kumpanya. And for me, long term is very, very important dito din. DMC para sa akin. Maliban ko sa nakuha ko siya sa baba, ay undervalue pa rin siya until today based sa kanyang fundamentals. So, kaya ako siya pinili until today.
Okay, thank you for that, Sir Renz. How about Sir Mike? What's our top stock pick for 2025?
So my top pick for 2025 is Metrobank, MBD. Okay. There's three reasons actually. The first one, again, I'll go back to the technicals. As I mentioned kanina, 70 pesos is my support level, and it hit that already kahapon. So for me, it's an easy buy. Number two, fundamental wise, it's good. Tingnan na rin lahat na mention na nila. Actually, mas marami pang nalaman about MBT after that. So, that's good. And then probably number three for me is a bittersweet story. Simply because only MBT sila lang ang ayaw magbigay sa akin ng credit card. So, hindi siya habit. It's just that parang wala na. Trip ko lang na mag-ipon ng credit card. So I have all the banks. But only MBT. Siya yung unang kong in-applyan. Nauna akong na-reject. Hindi siya yung unang nag-reject. Parang na-reject din ako eventually. And then this is my third time to do that. And ayaw pa rin nila sa akin. So, fine. But ang ano ko na lang doon is at least I do like the stock. Sabi ko kanina, di ba, I take breaks and then I purge every year. And I was just waiting for that signal na nakita ko kahapon. And probably on Monday, hopefully kung hindi siya mag-drop before 70, Monday or Tuesday, I'll definitely take FPT.
Question, Mike. May target price ka kung kailan ka mag-exit?
It depends on my next resistance, which is 82. So again, ang basis doon is technicals na. It's a whole different story when we talk about fundamentals.
Thank you for that, Sir Mike.
I'll just add, ganda ng story ni Mike about the credit card. So, the average non-performing loan ng industry, the banking is 3.5, MBT is 1.5. So that may be the reason why. That's a very sure. But in spite of that, loan growth is 60%. So, sobrang benta-benta na kayo.
You really like MBT.
Baka sa Monday, 80 to lang yung MPP dahil sa inyo, ha?
Okay, Ikaw, Tito Glo, what's your top stock pick for 2025?
My top pick ay siyempre, yung favorite stamp ko, A-REIT. Diba? Yung A-REIT kasi ako, all the REITs, siya yung pinaka-strong fundamentals. Tapos yung A-REIT, yung ARI na kanyang parent company, ang dami niya mga rental properties na continuous niyang ini-infuse sa A-REIT. And yung revenue ng A-REIT and earnings, syempre patuloy na tumataas and yung dividends na din niya continuously growing. And pero sa ngayon, ano na siya, very good yung kanyang technicals and fundamentals. Pero sa mga gusto pumasok sa A-REIT, wait po na until February kasi mataas yung excitement kasi merong potential na masama siya sa PSEI. So since marami excited na gusto humabol, so wait muna until February. Siguro pag napasok na siya sa PSEI, pwedeng magkaroon ng pullback. Kasi masyadong mababa na yung yield niya ngayon kung ngayon siya kahabulin. And ideal siya for conservative investors just like me. Kasi ako, biktima na ako ng scam. So, ang focus ko ngayon yung mga conservative investors, mga dividend-paying stocks na mga companies with good fundamentals, well-researched. Kasi yung mga nasa signature portfolio mo sa DragonFi. So, well-researched yung mga stocks na yun. So, kung wala pa kayong DragonFi account, open na kayo ng DragonFi account. Makikita nyo aking 20, top 20 dividend stocks, all are top performers.
Walang makakalabas hanggang walang DragonFi account.
Thank you for that. Last comments, yes, Rachel.
Yung tanong lang kay Tita Glo, yung A-REIT po ba, is it something na you feel you will hold for a very long time? O may target price kayo?
Wala akong target price. Unless, yung kasi ako, masisell ako pag yung fundamentals niya talaga pumalit na. So, kumbaga, hindi na valid yung reasons bakit ko binili yung mga stocks ngayon. So, sa ngayon, hindi ako nagbibenta.
Thank you for that, Tita Glo. So moving on, how about you, Kuya John? Ano yung top stock pick mo for 2025?
So ako, alam naman ako marami. Ang top pick ko pa rin is Keepers Holding. And I will tell you why. It's something na very easy to understand. Kasi dumaan yung pandemic 2020, that is the most challenging time. And pinagbawal ng umino, as in bawal umino. And yet, yung revenue and income nila keeps on improving. Parang sinagasaan lang nila yung pandemic, parang I don't care, no pandemic. And people still keep on drinking. So what it tells me, kasi when you invest, yung pumapasok mo yung psychology ng client ng company. That is what you are trying to study, yung psychology ng clients ng company. So ang psychology ng clients ng company, walang makakapigil, sabi ng iinom at iinom kami. It doesn't matter. And yung Keepers and Ginebra San Miguel, are very, very good. So it's malaking decision for both. For the reason na at 300 pesos and below, lasing ka na. So, 300 pesos and below, lasing ka na talaga. And ito pa yung isang naiisip ko kasi, nung panahon ng father ko, in the 80s, 90s, pag umiinom sila, it's beer. Patong-patong yung cases ng beer. Ngayon, wala ka na makikita ng ganun umiinom. People are turning to spirits kasi it's much cheaper. Kasi financial is very, very challenging. And kailangan mo uminom, kailangan mo malasing every week eh. It's our needs. Kailangan malasing every week. I live in a highly dense area, sa Valenzuela. It's very, very dense and I see people drinking every corner. And ang decision making talaga nila is they want to drink something cheap but also taste good. So, di yun yung na-fulfill ng dalawang company nito, Ginebra San Miguel and Keepers. So that's why ito yung gusto ko. I'm still buying even, kakabili ko na ng last time na 236, I'm still buying.
Alam ko, okay, sa video.
Si Kuya John, sabi si Kuya John is buy a company that you know, no? So, si Kuya John, alam na niya kung paano manginginom.
Yeah.
Keeper of buy.
Sa Bular Bear kanina, buying products that you use. Alright, moving on to our next panelist. How about you, Sir Warren? Ano yung top stock pick mo for 2020?
So all of them different. All of them pick conglomerates, big, well-known stocks, and different industries. No, utilities, banking, consumer. So I'm on the riskier side. I think this stock would have a safety net as well as modest capital appreciation in 2025. So I think OGE Oceanagold Philippines. No? OGP is nakaka-IPO lang niya last year. It IPO 30 pesos something. In that price of IPO, it has a projected dividend yield of around 20%. The original price of IPO was around 21 pesos. Binaba nila because yun nga, yung market appetite for IPO that time was not so good. So binaba nila to increase the dividend yield. Right now, I think because of the dividend yield that it's projecting, you have a safety net, but at the same time, that cushion as well na hindi kayo you'll still get a steady stream of income kahit na yung price niya is nasa 14, ngayon nasa 14 plus 14.60 I think. So it can go up to as high as 20 siguro. So it's on the mining side. The mother company is a Canadian mining company.
Thank you for that, Sir Warren. And that's it for Bull or Bear. So, pinag-away-away ko kayo, but I hope you guys still remain as friends. As our clients also. Alright. So, next, we're moving on to our question and answer segment. So, if you have questions, scan the QR code on your flyers, and you may approach the microphone with the center also. So, let's answer a few more questions muna. So, what are some red flags investors should watch out for when evaluating investment opportunities, particularly in the local market?
I guess this is addressed to anyone, right? So, any volunteers?
I think speculation.
So, kanina pinag-usapan yung Tito, di ba? Tito always had negative cash flow, walang earnings. Pero during that time, umakyat yung price niya to 2 pesos, 16, 18, no? So, kahit negative yung earnings niya or just starting. So, yung speculation, you will always hear that. You will always hear noise or rumors from everyone. Just assess your risk appetite kung kaya nyong tanggapin na ganun. And if you invest in this particular stock, if you earn, then good. But if you lose money there, that's really the risk that you can accept.
Yeah, agree ako doon. Actually, na last month, pinag-usapan natin yung Tita Glo. Sabi ko, Tita Glo, hindi ko may feel like spiny because sumipa. Sabi ko, parang lumipa. Tita Glo, parang okay pa to. And then, after just a few weeks, wala na, matay na siya kasi nga, it's speculation katulad sa ni Sir Warren. Kung wala siyang substance, it's really very, very hard.
Ako just pag speculation, like si Mike earlier, di ba? Ang huli niya yung upside na dito. I think pag speculation, you really have to focus on technicals. Kasi speculation ka. Tapos you have to get in early. So once malaki na inakyat, tapos narinig ko pa the same rumors, yun ang red flag.
And siguro also to add, red flag / pet peeve. So, pag nasa social media, and I'm pretty sure marami sa atin nagsimulan ganito. Magpo-post sa Facebook or somewhere else, magtatanong, either, ano pong stock ang magandang bilhin, lilipad pa si dito, or something like that. Okay? Now, it is still my pet peeve, not because of the question, but because it invites answers from potentially fraudulent commenters. Diba? So kaya siguro my tip for you guys, huwag masyadong magpapanila agad. When someone tells you of a certain stock, malilipad, especially pag ginamit yung term na to the moon, be skeptical na. And stay away. Stay away. Stay away. If you want to get quality responses, you can follow it up with one. If they can substantiate their response, then possible may merit yun. But if not, then my automatic thought there is there's a hidden agenda behind that response.
Ako naman, tayo pag nag-invest sa market, minsan, ang unang pag-aaralan natin, pasok na sa market, syempre, kung gusto natin pag-aaral technical, magpapa-expert tayo sa technical chart. Pag ratio, fundamentals. Pero minsan, nakakalimutan natin pag-aralan yung sarili natin. Even the professional investors, minsan nakakalimutan natin pag-aralan. Kasi minsan pumapasok tayo sa lahat ng investment na yung risk ay ito, pero yung ating risk appetite ay ito lang, nagkamaroon na chaotic yung ating investment. So, sa pamamagitan ng pag-aaral ng ating sarili, kung ano ba yung goal mo? Kung ang goal mo ay retirement, tapos 40 years old ka pa lang, kahit na bumabagsak ang merkado, invest ka lang ng invest. Bakit? Kasi ang goal mo, retirement eh. Kung ang goal mo ito, focus ka lang sa goal mo. If magpapasway ka sa emotions, sa market fluctuation ng merkado, mahihirapan ka. So for me, that's the one piece. So, I think, i-watch out natin kapag tayo mag-invest sa market.
Thank you, Sir Ren. So moving on to our next question. Okay, our next question is, given the current environment in the Philippines, inflation, interest rate, what asset classes do you think, or do you see as the most promising for retail investors? So, anyone?
I can go.
Yes.
But this is just very quick. No? I'm a risk taker kasi. High risk ako. So, crypto. You know what?
Crypto is a different asset class, right? How about the others?
Ako, if I may add, sinabi ni Warren Buffett na dati, kapag mataas ang inflation, ano ba ang magandang pasukin mo na stocks? So, ang sinasabi niya, pumili ka ng stocks na may pricing power, na pwede niya itaas yung price niya at walang magagawa ang market and they will still buy it. So ako, I'm also bullish sa mga schools kasi schools have pricing power. Talagang mag-i-increase na sila ng tuition at problema na ng parents kung mag-abroad sila, magbebenta sila ng kidney or whatever, magbabayad pa rin kayo, mangutang kayo, doesn't matter. We will raise tuition fees. So I feel, so yung isa, look out for, just an example yun, pero look out for companies na may pricing power. Kaya nila mag-increase ng price at will. At walang magagawa ang clients nila.
Parang keeper.
Iinom pa rin. No?
Based on the moment, yes.
For me, it's a more balanced approach. No? So, part of your, in this time of volatility, part of your portfolio siguro ilagay sa money markets, yung very safe investment. And then part of the other portfolio is stock market, because I think now stock market medyo it's a good time to buy right now. We just don't know when is the bottom. Of course, no one knows that. But relatively, it's quite on the low side.
For me, nothing has changed. Even in stocks pa rin. Yeah, kasi in reality, di ba, they really nag-cut naman ng 75 basis points. So the cost of capital has been lower.
Yeah.
So, pero I also agree with Mike, by the way. Feeling ko may fundamental change sa
Crypto.
not crypto as a whole, for me, with Bitcoin. So, because of may nangyari yung iBit. So, iBit is the BlackRock Bitcoin Spot ETF. So, because of iBit, napasok na siya sa mga retirement accounts ng Americans. So, Americans can actually have exposure to crypto through yung retirement accounts na, which is very, very big. Just to give you guys an indication, 13 trillion out of the $50 trillion US stock market galing sa retirement accounts ng Americans. So, imagine if kahit 2%, 3% allocation to Bitcoin, how much Bitcoin. So, yeah, I see that yung parang there.
Thank you for that, Sir John. So moving on to our next question. Okay, our next question is, what is your timeline for offering the Pera account?
Oh, awesome. Great question. For those of you who don't know, DragonFi has been accredited by the SEC as the first broker Pera administrator. We aim to launch yung Pera accounts by June or July. I hope hindi magalit sa amin yung dev team namin, but that is really my goal kasi we really want to launch it. We feel that Pera really has a lot of advantages for investors as currently constructed, and I believe in the future it will become even more potent. So June, July.
Yes, thank you for that, Sir John. So moving on to our next question. what features that will help beginner investors are coming next to DragonFi?
Okay. One thing na lalabas namin this quarter that I feel now will help a lot of new investors. Lalabas na namin yung copy trading feature namin. So you can copy their trades. The moment they do their trades, when you subscribe to them, you will have a notification, in-app notification that you can just click copy. I think that's something very
Excited.
very nice.
Yes.
Yeah.
So moving on to our next question. So what is a mantra you can impart to those investors that can help those who are having trouble handling emotions and motivations when investing? So advice sa mga hirap na mag-trade kasi emotional sila.
How about you, Aira? What's your...
Well, ako, when I was starting out, the main advice was given to me and that I practice is that try to keep it small, and then you'll level up as you grow and grow with the stock market. Kasi trading a 1,000 peso account is different from trading a 1 million peso account and 10 million, diba? Yung emotions different. How about you guys?
Ako, ang masasabi ko, yung ginawa ni Warren Buffett, John Templeton, and Guy Steer. So Warren Buffett is a great investor kasi lumayo siya sa New York. Nasa Omaha, Nebraska siya. John Templeton, I think, ewan ko sa Hawaii ko siya tumira. And then Guy Steer, dati nakatira siya sa New York and he's not doing well. He moved to Switzerland while investing in the US market and he did very well. So stay out of the noise, tulad na sinasabi ni Sir Mike, ni Warren. Stay out of the noise. Just look at the disclosures, read all the disclosures, read all the annual reports, and form your own opinion.
Anyone else would like to add?
Para sa akin, siguro yung mantra na may iwan ko today. Ang pag-i-invest sa ating merkado ay pareto pagtatanim ng bamboo seed. Kahit itanim mo man ito, itanim mo ito for 5 years, wala kang makikitang resulta. And after 5 years, yung significance of ng bamboo ay magsisignificant kung pound food is to full-grown bamboo. Now, ano dito para sa investment, para sa investing is, minsan, nag-aaral tayo na investing. Minsan, papaisip tayo, buti pa sila, ang bilis matuto, buti pa sa ito, ang bilis, buti pa sila ganito, ang galing. Minsan, ang emotions natin, nadadala tayo. Pero guys, kung tayo nag-aaral, ini-improve natin yung sarili natin, skills natin, I will guarantee to you, you will become successful no matter what happens sa pag-invest sa atin.
So it's time in the market, not finding the market.
Yes, Sir John.
More. Journaling. The most effective. Ako before, yung emotional pain of losing was so hard, especially as a beginning investor. That's why I started journaling. Ilabas ko yung pain eh. I don't know kung yung billions. Yung billions, diba? Meron siyang psychiatrist with. Kailangan nyo ng Wendy eh. Wala naman tayong Wendy. So, you put it here. Honestly, investing is so important. Kasi, like what sinasabi, it's the highest risk of just becoming financially successful investing. So, it's so important na kailangan you have a long-term yung time horizon na iniisip nyo. Hindi talaga pwede 1 year, 2 years, tapos pagkatalo kayo sabihin, okay, I'm gonna pack it up. Hindi pwede eh. That's what you gotta keep learning. Dapat kayo talo na yun must not be in vain. So, you have to keep on learning and learning. Pagaling. Then, yeah, I really didn't know. Sure, that's how you become successful.
Yeah, siguro just to add lang quick, sa akin may mantra for today would be perfection is the enemy of progress.
Yes.
So, kung iniisip ninyo na, kailangan ko muna matuto, kailangan ko muna pag-aralan to, 1, 2, 3, 4 technicals, PE ratio, moving averages, before I start, please stop.
Yes.
Investing and trading is a skill. Hindi ka matututo kung paano mag-ride ng bike if you're just looking at books or watching YouTube. You need to buy a bike, ride it, fell on it, learn from it, and then continue studying. Same thing with trading and investing. So, okay ang mag-aral. It's just that you have to take action para at least magamit mo yun. Just quick one, no? I had called one of my mentees before. Ang tinatanong niya sa akin, Sir, how do you define the value of the MC based on ganito? I tried to explain to him. Sabi niya, okay, got it. Pero, after a month, kinumusta ko. So, kumusta? Nag-grow na ba yung DMC mo? Did you buy DMC? Ay, sir, hindi pa ako nagsastart. Nakalimutan na niya yung definition. Nakalimutan niya yung sinabi ko. Simply because, hindi kasi niya in-apply. No? You will get more substantial understanding of something if you are actually experiencing it. No? So, kaya sabi ko sa inyo, if you have it open once, andito naman ang DragonFi team, open na right now.
Thank you, Sir Mike. So, yes, moving on to our next question. So, as a long-term investor, is it as easy as it sounds? You simply buy it and forget it. And how often should you be on the lookout for these investments? And how do you avoid taking profit from short-term swings rather than staying for the long term? So, about parang not being distracted with the short-term gains and sticking to the long term.
Siguro I will say something about this. So, katulad nung madalas na sinasabi nila, mga great investor, buy wonderful companies. Pero, ang nakakalimutan natin, how do you define a wonderful company? And marami nagsasabi, look at ROIC, higher ROIC, things, this and that. Pero ang isang indicator na na-realize ko, a wonderful company is a company that makes easy decisions. Wala silang struggle. Yun yung sinasabi nila Warren Buffett na even monkeys can run a company. And then, if may makikita kang ganon, and it's being managed by wonderful management, then that's good. Kasi hindi ka natatakot na magkaroon ng mga ganyan, ng mga problems, and things like that. Siguro, part din siguro ng DMC si Sir Renz. You know na yung management ng DMC are very good people. People that you can really trust. So I think that's also part of it. Good management and independent business. So this is something na nakakatulong ka naman higpit sa gabi. And you could stay long term talaga. Hindi ka nababother ng fluctuations.
So I think taking profit, there's nothing wrong with taking profit. You can take profit. So lahat sinasabi natin buy or for the long term, but at the same time, if it's time to sell, you also have to hit the trigger and sell, or else hindi natin ma-realize while we investing, hindi natin ma-realize yung profits natin, di ba? So example, I have LTG, so it's a dividend paying stock, ganyan, pero I also took profits when umakyat siya. There's always a time to either shift to another company or wait for the time na pwede yung bilhin ulit yung the same company. So, if don't be too greedy, no? So, if your target price is hit, then take the profit. It's still a profit.
Yes, sir.
Actually, there's a halfway. You can trade around a core position. You can trade around a core position. Meaning ko like a while ago, did we discuss the area in the bank? Ako, I'm eagerly awaiting BSCI inclusion of area because I want to sell some.
Okay.
Yeah. So you trade around the core position. Let's say meron kang 100 shares, tapos you see a pump, tapos naging 4% yield na lang yung area. I'll sell 30. I'll sell 30 shares with the intention of buying it back later. Kasi I want to hold on to area for the long term. Pero I'm taking advantage of sobrang extended nature niya in the short run. Yun, there's a halfway. Instead of, hindi lang siya buy and sell all. Pwede siya buy and sell some. And that's actually one of my intentions for him. Hinahintay ko na lang.
Sir John, gusto ko lang i-add na kasi siya is saying niya take profit. You're saying na somewhere in the middle. Ako, I'm someone na super long term. You also need to consider, you need to evaluate kung sino ka talaga as an investor. Kung anong style talaga yung nagre-resonate sa'yo. Kahit katulad na sinasabi ni Sir Reds, kasi magkakaiba talaga tayo. And once na pumasok ka sa isang bagay na hindi ka comfortable, masisira talaga yung discard mo. So you have to understand yourself then. And anong strategy yung bagay talaga sa'yo? Kasi we are all different, pero it works. For each one of us, it works.
Yes.
Kuya John. So actually in relation to what Sir John said na selling by batches, it's actually a good way to manage your emotions also. Kasi for example, nakabenta ka kalahati. Once it goes up, at least nakabenta ka na ng, at least may hawak ka pang kalahati. Pero once it goes down naman, at least nakabenta ka na ng kalahati. So parang half glass full, half glass empty. So moving on to our last question. Okay, our last question is, which is more risk averse? Dividend harvest portfolio style or REIT focused portfolio style?
This is more sa DragonFi signature portfolios.
Yes.
I've always cautioned against over concentrating in one sector. Kasi in that sector gets hit, sabay-sabay yan eh. Yeah, I rather not diversify. That's the reason why honestly, that's one of the reasons why kati-kati ako sa MBA. Kasi I need a bank in my portfolio. So, iba-ibang industry. You have power, you have ganon, you have REITs. So, you want to be diversified even in a dividend portfolio. Kasi pag puro REITs lang, let's say, what if mag-worsen yung situation, di ba? 20% vacancy rate, bigla na lang that goes to 30, then the whole REIT sector is affected. So, yeah.
Thank you, Sir John. So any last two comments probably from our panelists?
Ano yung risk averse?
Parang more defensive. More defensive.
Sige. Siguro, I will go with the same parang mentality what Sir John have mentioned kanina. You have to be diversified at some point. No? That's why I myself, this is my personal strategy. No? I have different portfolio based on kung ano ang trip ko. Okay? I have my long-term portfolio, I have my short-term portfolio, I have my experimental, I have REIT, I have dividends, I have growth. Kaya marami yung portfolio ko. No? And if you are someone who's just starting out, my suggestion is always start with your long term. Just like what Sir Warren have mentioned kanina, bibigyan ka kasi nito nung caution, no? In case you eventually wanted to go into short-term trading, at least may dividends ka. And when you build that for the long term, then this is one thing na na-realize ko lang lately, no? Mas nagkakaroon ako ng confidence on my short-term trade. Kasi ganito, let's say for example, one stock drops by about 8%. For a lot of us, panic mo. Baka magtuloy-tuloy. Sa akin, normally, I always see it as an opportunity na, anong gagawin ko na dito? If I wanted to sell it, I sell it. No questions asked. Reason kung bakit, number one, I try to follow my strategy. And number two, may backup ako. I have my dividend portfolio. So, kung ano man yung kaya ko ikatalo doon, I know that I can recover that through my dividends.
Thank you, Sir Mike. Any last comment? Yes, you can.
I'd like to add on to Mike. Kasi, hello. Yung ako kasi sobrang well-diversified ang portfolio ko. Not in terms of stocks and risk distribution. Pero lahat ng investments, meron ako. from yung low risk to high risk. Yung low risk, syempre na dyan yung MP2. si MP2 stars. Yeah, and then meron ako sa mga digital banks, time deposits, and meron din ako corporate banks sa mga corporate banks sa mga bangko. I have dividend paying mutual funds, REITs, dividend stocks, and meron din ako maliit na allocation for trading, short-term trading. So sa ngayon, kung dinalaman dyan yung strategic portfolio na DragonFi. So, lagi kong binabantayan. So nare-refresh ko rin yung mga pinag-aralan ko sa Udemy, yung technical analysis. So yun. So diversification sa lahat ng asset classes, wag lang sa stocks and dividends. And grids.
Yeah, physical assets din siguro.
Yeah, physical assets meron din. Meron akong auto na pinaparin. So yun.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Tita Glo, and thank you to all our panelists here today.
Yeah, very short lang. First of all, I'd like to thank everyone for coming. Sobrang na-appreciate namin. I know it's a Saturday that you spent your time with us. I'd like to thank the creators. Very, very valuable insight like us. Sir Mike, Renz, Kuya John, Tita Glo, and Warren. You guys provided valuable insights. I always learn from our discussions. Lastly, I wanted to show you guys that we always try to push the envelope in terms of how we learn learning financial concepts. It does not have to be boring and tedious. And we hope that you appreciate it. And we would really love to hear from you guys and how we can improve this, right? Para for future events and future iterations of this. Lastly, okay, I'd like to show you guys lang can look forward to in DragonFi. We're very, very excited because for account holders, I think you've seen how we've grown in terms of mga features namin and the app in general over the past 1.5 years. We launched in May of 2023, and I don't think when you look at our app, I don't think you can find a comparable investing app that has really innovated the way we have. And so in 2025, and that's thanks to our dev team pala, some of whom are represented here. Thank you to our dev team. So, we really attack it from technology standpoint. As a matter of fact, if you go to our office, mas malaking portion ng headcount namin are developers over any other department. Kasi we want to continually develop. Ang goal namin is to launch new features every quarter. So for this year, one of the main that we're very, very excited about is multiple accounts. So next time when you have your app, single login yan, you can control multiple accounts. Let's say you have an account with your girlfriend, your account with your mom, your account with your wife, whatever. So you can control it. One face ID, you can shift from one account to another and control it. And one of the highlights of this will also be the Pera. So, may multiple accounts na kayo, and you can also have your Pera account within your DragonFi. So, I had a meeting with the BSP yesterday. So it's the interagency task force of the BSP, SEC, BIR. The great news is yung mga current PSCI dividend Y index stocks and REITs, you can actually transfer to your Pera account. So you don't need to start from scratch. Because the Pera account may tax advantage, by the way. In your Pera account, dividends are tax-free. Wala na yung 10% dividend tax. So that's why we believe talaga in dividends in DragonFi. We believe that talaga it's one of the optimal ways to play in the Philippine market. That's why talaga hinabol talaga namin. It took us a year worth of lobbying. When we approached the SEC did not have its implementing rules and regulations. When in fact the law was implemented in 2016. So we actually were the ones who lobbied for the completion of the Pera IRR under SEC. And the others. Okay, this one I'm very, very excited to. So again, continuing with our innovation, by mid of this year, you will have real-time deposits and withdrawals. So how we're gonna attack this is in your DragonFi account next time when you click withdrawals, it's gonna ask you if you want to open a CINB digital bank account. So gagawin namin it's a one-click functionality. When you click that, we will pass your KYC to CINB. Why? Kasi one covered entity is legally allowed to pass KYC information to another covered entity. So mga regulated entities, a bank, a brokerage, and all that. So with one-click functionality, you can open a CINB account in real time, you can now withdraw your funds to your CIMB account. Then you can use it for whatever purpose you want. We will also allow withdrawals before the T plus 2. Di ba may T plus 2 na settlement period, di ba? Now, when you sell the stock, if you need the funds right away for a small fee, let's say, for example, 50 pesos for every 100,000 withdrawal, you can immediately send it to your CIMB account real time as well. I'm very excited about this because we have a lot of OFW clients who don't have Philippine bank accounts, who are obviously overseas that they can't open a bank account. Now, we've solved another pain point of our clients. Is there anything else? Oh, copy trading. This talaga, as you can see, sobrang hard at work yung mga dev team namin. By the end of this quarter, magkakaroon na kami ng copy trading feature. So the copy trading feature, let's say if you follow Sir Blex, Kuya John, Moneywise Engineer, Warren, Sir Mike, Stocksilo, if you follow them, whenever they make a trade, lalabas na may in-app notification na, you click that, then you can copy their trade. You can choose to copy their trade. So it's still up to you. So that's another innovation that we will have in our program. Lastly, well, it's not there, but ako lang, I'm very, 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 very excited. After 2 years worth of lobbying, US markets will be in DragonFi by this year. So very, very excited. So those are the things talaga na we really work hard. And alam mo, I think our clients of ours, they know na I'm very responsive kami. When someone asks us to, hey, pwede ba nyo i-add tong feature? If we talagang pinipila talaga namin, if we feel talaga a majority of clients will, we really attack it from a technology standpoint, and we feel that we can really keep on disrupting, the industry. Thank you again for your time, and I look forward to speaking with you guys personally. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that, Sir John. Kala ko nasa Apple event ako eh. DragonFi event pala. Pero okay, so I'm pretty excited for the stuff that we're going to cook for 2025. So if you don't have a DragonFi account yet, I would like to invite you to download it sa App Store or sa Google Play. And also, please hold on to your Bull Bear cards kasi you can exchange those for our tote bags, merchandise, and registration when you exit later. So, thank you all for being part of DragonFi's Usapang Merkado 2025. Alam ko Saturday today, pero you bothered to come here, learn about stocks, right? And I would also like to thank our creator circle for accommodating us, our DragonFi team who came here early today also, and obviously to everyone here. So, yes, see you all on our next Usapang Merkado. I'm your host, signing off.